Hey there, online students. This is Dr. Buer. It's Monday, June the 6th. Welcome to the fifth week of classes online for the summer. Hope all of you are doing great. It's now super hot in Dallas. I hope you're somewhere else cool. But if you're in Dallas, we're just going to all sweat it out together. I hope that you're doing okay with it. But that's summertime here, so hey, no big surprises. All right, so let's dive into what we've got going on for this week. In NT 5103, we are now in the section of the course where we are going to do what we call study guides. And study guides are, in essence, worksheets that walk you through a passage and help you answer questions about it related to what we studied in terms of the grammar. So, for example, you'll notice that we have study guides for John chapter 4. That's what we're working on first, and then we'll move into the book of Philippians. But they are, in essence, a series of questions that guide you to think about the text. It might be to ask a question about the meaning of a word and get you to look something up in BDAG. It might ask you to do some parsing elements. You can see here we ask you about the tense and the mood of a verb. But then we're going to ask questions that make you dive into the grammar that you have read. And so that's why I wanted to remind you that we don't expect that you're going to memorize all of these points of grammar. You can use Dr. Wallace's textbook as a resource, as a reference tool. For example, when we ask you about the use of the mood, you'll go back to what you read about mood and you'll look at the particular uses of the imperative, and then you'll make a decision about which one fits best here. You'll recognize that there is not always just one right answer, but of the ones that we give you, usually one will be best. It'll make the most sense in the context, and that's what we're looking for. But you'll notice that this is just a broad smattering of information, tips, tricks, whatnot about the text. The goal is to get you into the text, to help you think about translating it, working with the grammar, getting better at understanding the grammar. And so this is the part and parcel of what we're going to be doing in the course up until almost the last week. So I find it very exciting. I enjoy it because it makes you dig into the text, and that's where you really begin to grow and understand about how Greek works and how it impacts meaning. So this is going to be our regular state of affairs for quite a while, so I hope that you enjoy it. In NT 5104, we are currently working on let me hit the right button here. Sorry about that. We're currently working on the exegetical outline. Now, the exegetical outline is focused on the outline of a passage, the logical flow based upon the grammar and the ideas. It's somewhat different than what you have done before with outlines. I'm sure all of you have worked on outlines in passages up to this point, but we have some very particular things that we do in this department that are, excuse me, different than what you may have done. The main thing is, for example, you have to also turn in a revised structural layout. I've graded those. They're back. You'll need to look at my comments and revise it because we tie the outline directly to the structural layout. And so I won't go into all of the details of how that works here. That's what the lectures are for. But that's why you have to turn that in again, as well as the outline that you're going to do. So please be sure and focus on that first, on revising your structural layout, and then absorb all of the content about how to make the exegetical outline, and then you'll turn that in as well. So I'm looking for two separate files, an outline as well as a redone structural layout. Now, in NT 5110, we are currently working on canon, and I find this a really interesting lecture. Canon is a area of study that's particularly important in this day and age because we have to ask and answer the question, why are the particular books that we have in the Bible the ones that we've got? And the process of understanding the canon explains that how the church came to that conclusion, the things that they thought about, the other books that were excluded and why. So it's a really interesting process and very, I think, current in terms of why we accept the biblical text and none other as authoritative. So I would encourage you to take this module very seriously. I think it's going to be very helpful to you moving forward. But then you'll also notice that we have a assignment for the research paper. Very specifically, you have to pull together your bibliography. Now, I want to remind you that this assignment is different than what you have done for other bibliography assignments. Yes, you do have to get together a list of sources you're going to use for your paper. You will notice that I have some numbers here. You have to have 10 secondary and tertiary sources and then 3 primary sources, but that's what's different. Not only do you need dictionaries, encyclopedias, books, and journal articles, but you also have to go into the primary source materials to help answer this question. So please read these instructions carefully. I explain here what primary sources are, I explain the number of sources that you need, and I give you some advice on how to go about finding them. So read this very carefully before you complete the bibliography assignment, and then let me know if you have questions. All right, well, that's it for the weekly video update. I hope and pray that all of you are doing great. We will look forward to working with you online, and I hope you have a great week. See you soon.